All right. Well, let's start with Gina fucking Carano.
1837, Gina Carano, canceled.
God, she used to be so hot.
She is attractive.
She is. She still
did?
is.
Really?
Yeah. She really did.
Is she in the
Mandalorian, yeah.
like some episodes and then she's not?
I mean, I didn't watch it, but as far as I assumed, I thought she got through the first season, and then they.
That's what I did understand. She disappears. She's getting canceled.
I think she got it wrong, though. I think they brought her on to cancel her. That's my opinion.
Brought her on to cancel her. What?
Disney is one of the biggest companies in the world. She acts like they didn't know her politics.
I don't think she knew her politics till all this stuff came out with the vaccine.
But she acts like she acted like because she was a Trump supporter. Like she voted for Trump when? Probably before the Mandalorian started filming.
No, just the Biden election, she said.
Well, either way.
In any event, she's definitely a right-winger, Trump supporter, anti-vaxxer, anti-lockdown. They talk about booing and fighting.
She's also a pretty deep conspiracy theorist. I know that didn't really it didn't come up, but it seemed like it. Beautiful. I know exactly how hot she was. I'm telling you. She used to be a 10.
She's very, I don't know about a 10.
She's 40 years old.
Beautiful.
She's still attractive.
She's still really hot.
She sounds nice. Seemed like a nice person. I'd be concerned if she was came in, you know how some people are really leaning into it? I didn't think she was leaning into it, like trying to make this my identity now. I'm a right-wing shill. It's just sort of, this is the only lane I have left to me, is to work with Ben Shapiro.
You don't think she's Tim Pooling it?
No, or Candace Owens or some of them.
You're going on to a network that is...
She needs to eat. I don't think she has a choice. But I mean, her road redemption would be for sure, and I don't think she wants to fight Ronda Rousey. That would be huge, right?
Well, it would help her a great deal.
It'd help her a great deal.
It's not going to be huge. Again, it's going to be in the UFC. They're each going to get paid $1 million. Dana's going to make 40, and
there's no side. They're both under contract, sort of thing. I was going to be huge.
Is Ronda Rousey still in WWE?
I wouldn't know. The wrestling.
Yeah,
not the. I don't know.
I don't
Probably
know.
under contract, but that's the best thing she could do, better than coming on Joe Rogan to try to build her reputation back up. Would be a big splash with the. Because if she gets beat up by Ronda Rousey, everyone says, "See, you got your lickings," and then she could.
I mean, Ronda Rousey's a terrible fighter, so she'll probably get crushed. Also, I haven't seen the movie, but I saw the trailer, and her movie looks fucking terrible.
The cowboy movie she was promoting?
It looks absolutely awful. I don't care how big a fucking whatever that stupid Western that you guys like. I don't care how big a fan of that shit you are. Yeah, there's no way you're gonna like this movie. It looks terrible.
I will watch it just to confirm that, but I have no desire to watch it.
Well, you'll be constantly on that network anyways, so I'm sure you'll see it there.
Mm-hmm.
The Daily Wire, is that what it is?
I believe that's what Ben Shapiro runs. Do you guys agree with Joe that the score...
Sorry, just 1 second. So Ben Shapiro has done pretty much what Tim Pool wanted to do.
Tim Pool just did it faster, or he's copying?
No, but I don't think Tim Pool... Does he have other people on his network?
I think all those other people have their own Patreons, but I would compare what Ben Shapiro's doing is almost closer to what Adam 22 is doing, in that building a network and then putting other things on. I think Tim Pool is just...
Well, I think that's what Tim Pool wanted to do. I think that was the whole point, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Start other shows and stuff.
I wonder if Tim Pool and Ben Shapiro are friends.
It would make sense. It'd be hard to think they're enemies. Sort of some common interests.
Well, I'm sure at one point they were enemies.
I mean, they both like nice little hats, so they have something in common. It's a good starting point.
That's dry and funny.
That's
droll.
That's very true.
Do you think, like Joe says, the scoring system should be 80-40 instead of this 9-10 weird thing?
Sorry, what scoring?
Yes,
Joe quietly criticized the UFC. It was more like...
Yeah, and it's bonkers the way it is now.
It's a weird point they're making.
I don't understand it, which is one of the problems with it, but it also just obviously doesn't lend itself very well to
I've watched a lot of UFC, and for the first time ever last night, I heard John Anik break down how the scoring works, and it baffled my
It
mind.
made no sense.
No.
So they just adopted something that has already been done, and boxing is just so different from UFC for scoring or
Even then, boxing, okay, the system doesn't work in boxing either. You have a 10-point must. You never, ever see 10-7 rounds. So what are we even doing?
Yeah.
it's just
What are we doing?
The worst round you'll see is a
someone wins,
10-8
someone loses.
round. So why not just have a 1-2-3 scoring system? Because you're not.
it's just to make round numbers.
This just doesn't make
The
sense.
point is, there's way more that goes into even what they're scoring. Like, you could have a guy on the ground, right, who's dominating, trying a whole bunch of different moves out and stuff, and the other guy's blocking it. And who gets those points? You know what
Like
I
a
mean?
block should be worth some credit, sort of thing, versus just no points scored.
I just think there's a lot more going on than ever could be in boxing. So to have that
Agreed.
same even scoring system doesn't seem like it makes a lot of sense. Now, I'm not the guy to come up with a better system. I just,
I think they should find a way to eliminate decisions altogether.
That run a risk to the health of the competitors, though, right?
I mean, yeah, I don't know. Would it?
I don't know. Why is that even an argument?
They just fight till someone drops.
No, you still would have rounds, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can stop and have. I don't know. I'm just saying, I don't think anyone enjoys a decision when you're watching the UFC. Yeah, I guess boxing is the same. No one but I guess most boxing.
I mean, but there has to be a decision. Like, you can't have just endless rounds. So,
Fans have to boo too, right? Like, it's the
I mean,
responsibility.
sometimes they should boo.
It's the responsibility of the fighter not to they're booing me. I got to go against my fight plan. Whatever they're doing, whatever boring fight, you've got to be in a self-preservation thing. But if fans are not liking it, they can just be quiet.
I mean, you can do whatever the fuck you want. You can win any way you want. You know what I mean? But I guess the fans have a right to want
I think
what
so.
they want.
I think so.
the problem
Doesn't
is their
change
pay.
anything.
Like, I have no problem with you booing an NBA player making $50 million a year. But when a guy's making 10 grand, can't even pay for his camp, and you're booing because the fight isn't exciting, there's a little.
It makes us look callous.
That's the disconnect I see. Yeah, and like again, basketball, no one's getting CTE. No one's fucking like that gouge Max Holloway had in his head last night. Like,
Dude, that was so crazy. Did you see that? Did you watch it?
I fell asleep right as he was walking out.
Matt wasn't watching. I was looking though.
well, I saw the cut. I didn't watch
So,
them
you
stick
know
a
they
whole
have
Q-tip in there.
A
Like,
Q-tip. It like disappeared into the cut. It was so deep, man. I mean, I don't know how deep it was, but it was so fucking wide. There was no way to stop it.
And did it look like Max has sort of lost a step or something?
I mean, Max
Doesn't look
just
like
looks
he's lost a step.
slow
It looks
when
like
it comes to
Volkanovski's a fucking
Volkanovski,
maniac.
man.
Yeah.
Like against
It's
a
both.
normal
It's both.
person, Max looks like he has really fast hands, but against Volkanovski, the guy, like, he's so fucking fast. It's crazy.
he's like a little Tasmanian devil.
Yeah, he is like a
banshee.
little Tasmanian devil. And I was saying to Matt last night, like, when it's a reach advantage like that, the little guy usually like never gets inside. Volkanovski is always inside anytime he wants. Boom, 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 boom. And then back too. Like, he doesn't get caught with a bunch of
Well, look at Pedro Munoz against Sugar Sean. He was swinging his little raptor arms in there, and he couldn't get near him.
Exactly.
But Volkanovski was just.
I wonder if
fucking
Volkanovski
connecting.
has longer arms, maybe. I don't know. Either way, very impressive.
Max did not retire, but Cowboy Cerrone did.
Max is 30 years old.
Yeah, Max isn't retiring.
Yes, Cowboy did retire. Yes, he said he's going to be a movie star. He apparently
With
also
Gina.
has not seen his film.
I think that's cool though for him. I'm happy. He was always a character.
I'll give Donald this. He has a chance. He is a character, and like I could see him in roles.
And it's amazing when like a good guy like that can, parlay his fighting career.
Like, it'd be
into
super
something
sad
else.
if he had health problems or speech impediment. Like, I always want to remember him just as he
Which is crazy too, because he's been in some fucking like down and out Donnybrooks, you know what I mean?
He has the second most wins in UFC history.
No, I'm just saying he was never afraid to
to swing.
exchange.
Yeah.
Get it in there.
I'm just saying though.
Right,
He
he
also
was in a
has,
lot of fights, yeah.
If you have the most wins in UFC history, you've
Dude, the stats they give on those UFC cards are hilarious. Like last night, they gave a stat for Munoz that was.
no Max Holloway, one of 7. You're a Hawaiian fighter.
Oh no, no, but Munoz, they said he had like 220,
800 jiu-jitsu matches.
800 jiu-jitsu, whatever the fuck it was, some crazy number. Like, anyways, sorry.
Yes,
go
the
on.
scoring needs to change for sure.
Go on, come on.
I agree.
But that's not the UFC.
I don't understand it enough.
I was
the
bored when they
commission.
were talking about it, and I'm bored with us talking.
Okay,
about it.
sorry.
No,
Just
I'm-
in closing, I don't think the UFC has any control. I think it's the athletic commissions that decide the scoring.
Well, that's even worse, right? Because those are just a bunch of old men who are never in touch with the sport in the first place, you know?
Yeah.
It's like the people who make our drug laws and shit. Like, they're not even people who do drugs.
They touched a bit. Well, she was obviously, if we're going to be talking about cancel culture, talking about the internet versus real life, which is so apparent when you get out. Like, no one's a dick out and about. Oh, I guess there's some road rage once in a while, but for the most part, everyone's civil, whereas people join the tribe and attack.
I mean, it depends on where you are and what you're doing, I guess, you know?
It's not as crazy as the internet, though. Just it versus real life. And she said one of the things that disappointed her is True Romance was her favorite movie, and Patricia Arquette hates her. And that'd be sort of a bummer.
Is it really?
If something you liked, like, because at the end she brings back Patricia Arquette. Like, I bet if we met, like, we'd be friends. But this sort of, I've been labeled this, and now all these people hate me, and I guess it'd be like, this is a horrible example, but if I met the Milk Boys and they thought I was horrible, I don't hold them the same as she likes True Romance, but it was a bummer for her as a filmmaker too.
Well, they say don't meet your heroes. There you go.
Well, I thought that was the best part is if you live long enough, you'll see your heroes become villains.
I mean, I guess sometimes.
I don't know if it's always true.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, yeah, for some people.
What if you're a huge Tom Hanks fan?
Tom Hanks is 100% a villain.
He's
The guy's
become a
been
villain, but I'm sure he's
fucking
not.
Yeah, that's in
importing children through
here we go.
Wayfair
Yeah.
for
There's an exception to every
years.
rule, but it's just sort of this thing. It sort of ties into the being young, liberal, becoming conservative. Like, has the world changed or has Howard Stern changed? Because I think we all agree he's changed something. He's less the rebel and more the conformist than he was.
You're
Or is
talking
that
about
us?
Howard Stern?
Yeah, they talked about
Well,
actually. in the
both
next one.
things have happened. The world has changed and Howard Stern has changed.
I think you're forgetting how easy it is to like, it's easy to be anti-establishment when you're not making a shitload of money.
Yeah.
Like right now, it's easy for all three of us to say fuck any sort of company. If Amazon was the one paying our bills to the tune of like millions of dollars a year, I have a feeling we'd all maybe not speak so poorly about Amazon.
I know this
or
part of my life,
insert
I
any
would
fucking-
speak highly of Amazon.
Yeah, for any amount of money, exactly. So this is what I'm saying is like a guy like Howard Stern, he's got fucking tons of. I don't know what his deal is, but yeah.
It may be like she did talk about some conspiracies with Fauci and stuff, but it seems like entertainment for the most part to one side. It wasn't split down the middle.
Sorry, what?
Entertainment during the last 2 years sort of all agreed on one side. There wasn't half the entertainment industry was totally pushing back. It seemed pretty much across the board in entertainment consensus, for better, for worse, with the powers be like, hey, I know you're an artist, but
Yeah.
we're trying to make the world a safer place.
Yeah,
Well-
but her problem. Hold on, her problem is like she's part of a fucking union. That union's job is for the safety of everyone involved in the union, right? So of course they're going to mandate masks, and
Yeah, but
that's the union's job. And yes, Hollywood is of course a liberal place, so I can see them mandating all that stuff. To me, that's not that egregious. Like if you found out.
I would say it's egregious. I just think it's noticeable. And
No, I mean to her though. Like
Oh.
if you found out that the steel workers of America did the same thing based on safety because they're close quarters. I don't know if she would have been so like, I mean, she probably would have because she was against it, but I don't know. As far as a union's concerned, isn't that their job?
Yeah, I think that's what happens. She just decided that was, her stand she was going to make, I guess. I don't know.
And I guess
no, she made that stand because she got in trouble on the internet, right?
For writing Bobby Pop. She said as a joke her pronouns are
boop, beep, bop.
Boop, beep, bop, which is kind of cute, I think.
That's what I mean. Like, she was happy to just be a normal player in the game before who was allowed to say boop, beep, bop on Twitter. Do you know what I mean?
No.
She ended up on Ben Shapiro's platform.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this is where she wanted to end up.
Do you think she was probably given it? Look, you have to say everything you're wrong. You misread stuff. Like she was given an out
by Disney.
No.
No, I think she just got fired by
She
Disney.
works for Disney, who was started by an anti-Semite, and she said some shit about she pissed the Jews off in Hollywood. Like, what are we doing here?
I mean,
was it the Jews that got pissed off?
Yes.
What was it she said?
She tried to say something.
She compared the U.S. now to
the mandates,
the Jews in the Holocaust,
forcing people to do stuff. But she tried to paint the comparison with what Whoopi Goldberg said about the Jews, and it wasn't. Jews aren't a race. Both egregious, but she was like,
what's Whoopi's fake last name?
Goldberg.
She gets a pass.
There it is. So if Gina Carano was
no, Whoopi's stance was stupid.
She just said
I don't know what this. I'm having a hard time finding out what this woman.
Gina Carano said
did.
She came out and said her quote. I'm going to butcher it, and I don't really give a shit. Someone can go pull it up. She said something along the lines of like, the way we are acting in the States right now is much along the lines of the way she feels like right wingers are treated like the Jews were in Nazi Germany currently. That was the gist of her quote.
Yeah, it'd be better to have it fully, but
am I wrong?
I thought she was comparing. I'll read the quote in a second. I thought she was comparing like the government to Nazis. I didn't know it was like a Jewish thing. I thought they got angry because like the Jews get angry because it's not the same thing, obviously.
Yeah.
We're talking about a situation where
there's some
millions and millions of
going
people
on,
died.
And I think that's what's offensive.
Exactly, but was that not what it was?
Yes, my point is she said that, and in Hollywood, she made a Holocaust comment that didn't go over well, and yes, Hollywood said, guess what? There's a lot of Jews here, and we have a problem with that. I'm not saying it's fair that Whoopi Goldberg, I'm just explaining that.
No,
you're also forgetting that Whoopi is like a Hollywood institute where Gina Carano has just gotten there. You don't really rock the boat when you first step in.
I think this was like a vaccine thing, though.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
And not a Jews in Hollywood thing.
But like Joe says, if someone says one thing, then you group in a whole bunch of things, and coincidentally, she does line up as a Trumper.
She believes in all of those things.
You look like a dog, walk like a dog.
Okay, here, this is her Instagram post. Jews were beaten in the street, not by Nazi soldiers, but by their neighbors, even by children, because history is edited. Most people today don't realize that to get to the point where Nazi soldiers could easily round up thousands of Jews, the government first made their own neighbors hate them for simply being Jewish. How is that any different from hating someone from their political views? So like I said, she's comparing
you are correct.
right-wingers
yes. No, you are absolutely
to Jews in the Holocaust, which of course is a bit egregious. I don't think, again, I'm not for cancel culture. I'm not saying someone should lose their job for this.
It's just a stupid statement.
All I'm saying is this: Gina Carano is acting like she was an established Hollywood star who got canceled. You had one part in The Mandalorian. You made a questionable post about Jews in the Holocaust in Hollywood. I don't know. And she to be canceled.
But what about Whoopi?
But okay, I agree. It's not fair. But I'm also saying like she put a movie out after this. So cancel culture, like it's a weird thing to say.
She put a movie out on a network that is like basically non-existent.
Okay, but she could have put it out on YouTube.
No, she. Oh yeah, I
right.
Guess
like Schulz couldn't get on Netflix, so he went out and made his own shit. I mean, we act like she lives in a world nowadays where she can't continue making movies.
Well, I don't think she paid to have that movie made. I think you put it on the network that pays you to do it.
Fair enough. My point it still stands is that if your work is truly worth watching, you now have a means today where you can make that for a low budget, put it out, and then someone sees it. And guess what? I'll use the perfect example. Stella Luna in Ottawa, the chick that makes fucking gelato.
I know her.
Yeah, she won the world's best gelato.
Okay.
She was pro trucker convoy.
Yeah.
So like all these people are boycotting
she
her.
donated and
Yeah,
got
she
outed
donated money,
during
she
that
got outed,
GoFundMe
exactly.
fiasco.
Her business is doing fine. You know why? Because the gelato speaks for its fucking self. Mm-hmm. Like, you're going to go where shit is good. So if Gina Carano makes good movies, she will continue to be allowed to make good movies. Louis C.K., guess what? Still around. Chris D'Elia, still around.
Yeah, when you're undeniable, you're hard to cancel.
This is it.
So your position, she has nothing to complain about.
No, listen, she's on Joe. I'm not sitting here saying, shut the fuck up, bitch. I'm just saying, I don't think she's without blame in this. Like, for her to just be like, I don't understand why this happened, I think is a bit disingenuous. That's all I'm
She
saying.
knows what happens.
I see the
Surprising
unfairness
extent.
of
I do too.
what happened to her for sure, because cancel culture is not a very fair game.
But it doesn't actually exist. Like, people still work and like.
And I hate to say this.
It does exist because Disney fired her. So yes, it does exist. She had a part, and because of one statement, that part got taken away.
And she got a new part. And maybe.
But I guess that happens to everybody all the time. Like if you go out there and blab your gums about something that people find offensive.
Listen, there's a lot of shit in Hollywood that we're not privy to. Like, if you don't do your press junket, you're probably not getting another job in Hollywood. That's just part of doing your job. Part of doing your job in Hollywood also is shutting the fuck up and towing the line. I don't think we realize that as much either, right? Like, unless you're John Hamm or Ben Affleck or fucking one of the... Yeah. Unless you're a top player, you don't have carte blanche.
Yeah,
to just
Joe
go out.
can say whatever the fuck he wants because he's uncancelable.
It's the same way. Like, dude, if you work for the NBA... You cannot, if you're making $50 million a year, you can't say shit about the refs publicly. Mm-hmm, the league finds you. The league comes out and says, guess what? We're taking $50,000 monetary from you. And again, I don't think that's necessarily fair, but all I'm saying is this. When you go into a world that you don't own, you have to play by their rules.
Yeah, and when you do enough good movies, then you get to then you're Tom Cruise and yeah, no.
Look at Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson can say whatever he wants about the Jews.
I mean, he can and he can't. He got canceled for a long time. He lost a lot of money.
But you understand what I'm saying. He was at the UFC last night. People cheer him like it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I mean,
cancel culture. Cancel culture
example.
exists. It does. I understand. But we also act like some people. You know, Weinstein.
Just because you're famous doesn't necessarily give you a right to say whatever the fuck you want. Yes, you have that right because of the amendment.
You can't. You're not. But all that
Hollywood has its own rules.
That amendment says you're not going to jail for saying what you want.
Exactly.
That's all
it doesn't
says.
say that you won't get fired.
Yes.
I mean, maybe they do have a law that says that. I don't know. But no, I totally see your point. Like, it's hard for me to feel sorry for her when she should have stayed the fuck off of Twitter.
Yeah, she can be. Listen. I bet if she had gone to rallies, anti-vax rallies, and like openly been like, "I'm a Trump supporter," they probably would have just kept her on. Like it.
I mean, Disney is a weird one for that, for sure. Probably because of what you said earlier. They're so uber afraid of having their dirty underbelly exposed that they have to, you know, think of all the like horrible things that have happened in the Disney world with their young stars and stuff, you know, like there are a lot of horror stories of.
I'm just saying when your company is started by an openly anti-Semitic person
who coincidentally best friends with the head of NASA.
Sure.
That's all stuff, but I'm just saying meetings. Like, no, like he was a known anti-Semite. This is my point. I'm just saying. So when that company is created by that guy, I can see why 100 years later they would be like, listen, we have a pretty strict no comparing anyone to the Jews and the Holocaust. I don't know. Is it fair? No. Has she been totally canceled? No. She's on Joe Rogan. She's smiling. She seems like she's doing okay. Like you said, if she stays off the internet, she's fine.
Yeah, I don't think actual fully canceled exists. It's just she was something, you know, she's not. And Obviously, part of it's from the media. Would you guys agree the mainstream media, both sides, Fox, whatever, MSNBC, is sort of become a psychological virus that's always the outrage is going? And if we could suspend all news for 2 weeks to flatten the curve. Like it could be that all it takes is no one has to tune in.
Suspend
to see what the thing
all
is.
news, like off all platforms that deal news.
Nothing to worry about for 2 weeks. And we'll come back and see what it was.
No, because you'll just come back and people will be like, you'd have to
Chompy at the bit to be outraged. It wouldn't like give a time of pause and go, oh, everything's actually all right.
I mean,
I'm upset because I'm always watching the news.
It would help because just that break, I think, would be unprecedented at this point, you know?
Why? I think you just get rid of the 24-hour news cycle and then you simply tax every single advertiser. So guess what? You want to advertise on the US airwaves, we're taxing you, and that tax goes to the news. So now the news is sponsored by everyone equally. Anyone that advertises.
I love it.
And you don't get any fucking say. And there are no ads during the news. So no one has any fucking push or pull.
During the news.
So everyone still gets paid. All the journalists still get paid. Everyone can go out and they can go do good work, and it's not influenced by anyone. I mean, there's still an editor because I guess that's how the news works, but there's no way we can't find even-keeled centrist editors out there who are willing to run real news. I just refuse to believe that. But there's a way to get the money out of it. It's simple. You just tax.
So it has to be run by the government.
No, the tax is levied by the government and collected by the government. That's it. That's where it ends. You can still have like CNN. Think about it. If CNN right now is sponsored by Pfizer, okay, then their narrative is run by Pfizer. If we just say, look, you're still getting the same amount of money Pfizer was giving you, it's just not coming from Pfizer. It's coming from everyone. It's coming from Schmuckers. It's coming from fucking FanDuel. Everyone across the board is giving you a couple cents. You're still getting paid to do the news. Do the fucking news. Pfizer has no say in it anymore.
Interesting. I mean, it sounds smart.
Yeah, that's why it won't. That's why it won't happen.
Is there some executive for Tylenol just listening to go, shut the fuck, shut the, what, shut the fuck, when Joe just going in on Tylenol?
Yeah,
and
it's crazy because in the throwback that we're doing, they talk about it again. It's like a huge fucking deja vu, man.
That's why it resonated so much when he said it again. They're like, Joe is always shitting on Tylenol, but he's just shitting it 6 years apart.
I think, but he's doing it a disservice though. He's shitting on taking it on the regular.
Or too much of it.
And he's also like, these are people who are ODing on Tylenol. That means you're taking a lot of Tylenol.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Like, I think if you listen,
even taking Tylenol every day, they're taking way more than that, Maddie.
A doctor will tell you if you think you're having a heart attack, chew a fucking aspirin.
Baby aspirin, yeah.
So I'm just saying, is like, yeah, I agree. If you take a lot of these things, they're terrible for you.
Tylenol and aspirin are two totally different things.
I'm aware of that. I said aspirin though, didn't I? For a heart attack.
No, anyways.
Yeah, sure. My point though is yes. Obviously, I think all these pharmaceuticals, if you do too much of them, they're terrible for you.
Yeah,
there's
I'm
no
sure.
avoiding that.
I'm sure.
I don't think we're supposed to take.
But again, it's like just like anything else. It's you're giving and getting. You know, the balances of the scales of life. Like if you're in pain, you're going to be in less pain. But yeah, you're going to fuck up your liver later on. You know what I mean? Or whatever.
Like I'm with Gina Carano. I had all 4 of my wisdom teeth taken out. They gave me a bunch of Tylenol 3s, and I was like, I think I'll just get through this with some weed. Most surgeries I've had, my balls, 2 surgeries on my balls. I didn't take any painkillers for that either. That was a nightmare.
Why?
I just, again, I'm like her. I don't want to take them if I don't. I have to be in like excruciating pain.
They'll hurt you in different ways.
I mean, yeah,
your
but
liver
you're
or
not,
whatever.
You're not going to get addicted.
No, but even
you're
then,
just going to be out of pain.
I found the Tylenol 3s didn't do much for the pain, so it was just a waste.
Tylenol 3s don't do.
That's what I'm saying. So
pain,
that's all they would give me, and I was like,
I got you.
why
Child's
take it?
play.
At that point, you might as well just fly solo. But again, take it. Why not? It's not like that little bit of Tylenol 3 isn't going to hurt you.
No, again, I don't abuse ibuprofen or Tylenol. I would rather, I don't know.
There's a good chance.
Yeah, it feels like you just want to be in pain.
There's a good chance Chris Pratt and Scott Eastwood have some compromising photos of Joe.
Those 3 guys are bum blasted.
Those guys are they are the greatest on earth. They can do no wrong. They're my best. And if you're my friend, he
He passed both of them,
I'd
leaving
love to know
the
the
gay
story, and
bathhouse.
it's on the level. Why.
I think their wives must really like each other or something, because he has become fast friends with.
We're such good friends. We
Pratt.
don't want him on the podcast. Well, Scott's been on the podcast, but Chris doesn't want to go on because we don't want to make this about business.
Yeah.
We're just friends.
Yeah, don't shit where you eat.
Why though? Some people listen. If you're already famous, you might be like, "Fuck, I don't want to be on Joe Rogan."
It could be Chris is saying, "Hey, dude, I'd go on your podcast," but a bunch of people are going to think you're some religious.
Chris,
who knows how down to earth he is or whatever.
well, they could tell Joe what, like, he's easy, not asking the tough questions. But he has a new show, The Terminal or whatever.
No, well, that was what Buddy was on a month ago to promote.
And they're making the rounds of, like, so who knows? We may see.
And if
Chris
there's
Pratt.
friends, his friends is a phone call away.
This may be
That happened already. It's already out.
It's
my opinion.
maybe.
It would be cool if he'd come in with the author. Who
I'm calling Chris Pratt on the show.
Well, there goes the post, Joe.
Why?
They were talking about how fighting's become so much more mainstream. Because I guess she's quite the bar baller. It sounds like she might be instigator. She says she doesn't start fights, but somebody who just fights all the time in bars has to start a fight once in a while. You can't just have a face that everyone wants to punch. But
Well, it depends what your definition of starting fights is, right? Like,
well, she didn't tell one story. She just said it happened all the time. Could have benefited from that. Could have been a cool story of a crazy bar fight. But saying everyone knowing how to fight, saying people are less apt to fight because you don't know who it is. And I think that's what the argument is. The same thing should work with guns. Is that everyone has a gun known.
well, that is the theory in places like Texas where they have open carry and things like that. Is just assume everyone has a gun and then everybody treats each other better. But you can see that doesn't work.
No, but it may be working in social hand-to-hand combat. I don't
think
know.
there are still plenty of fights.
I have
out
no
there,
idea
man.
if I was at bars and saw fights all the time.
World Star out of business or something that I don't know about? Like, there are still plenty of people fucking throwing hands.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I think alcohol is the big fucking
Absolutely.
divider. I think if you remove alcohol, like fights just disappear.
If everyone was just stoned all the time, there would be so many less fights.
Well, that for sure. But I'm
That
telling
for
you, like,
sure.
as someone who worked in the bar industry for a long time, I can tell you that 99% of the fights I've seen are in that industry. And
The conflict was from alcohol.
this,
It
like,
causes inflammation, you know.
I believe it.
Drinking.
Listen, I never looked or felt worse than like my 20s.
Bloated.
I'm
Bar
sure it
none.
causes inflammation of your brain and your soul as well.
So right after they were talking about the fighting, she asked for a whiskey, and then sort of at hour 24, she starts asking him questions. And at that point, I started to realize
That's the old death knell.
her story or whatever, everything she has to say about her is out. Because she starts asking him questions, and then they just fall back in the lockdown. Then the talk comes in. I think Joe was like, I'll set this fight up. Because I really think that'd be a good thing for her. But she doesn't want to fight, or she's 40 years old. She has to do it like now, right?
Well, that's why I'm saying I don't think it's that big a fight because no one cares. Like most fans now are like, who and who?
Well, then someone would have to do some heel shit or whatever to make it add some
guess,
steak
yeah.
to the sizzle or whatever. Then they shit
Yeah,
on.
someone's got to fuck someone's husband.
Yeah, that would really sell some tickets.
Get Prashab in the mix. I'm sure he can get something fucking cooked up.
Whoa.
But of all of her
No, he
roasts,
he used to fuck Rousey.
Oh,
There's a
he
whole-
did?
Yeah, and Matt Brown knocked him out and then said something
add
to
some
him. It was like a
layers.
whole
But
thing.
as for
Yeah, I did not know that.
all her things doing movies on the Shapiro Network, which are going to be viewed by a small amount of people, to try to fight Ronda Rousey, and I think that's your best track right now, and you got to go now.
I would love to see what the Shapiro Network turns into.
If it quibbies out or if it sustains.
Well, just it'll be interesting to see what happens. He doesn't seem to me like a very, what's the word, like worldly type of guy, you know? He's so staunch in his beliefs, and then, I don't know.
Your point is the network can only grow so big.
That's what I'm thinking. Like,
Yes,
it's already
you are correct.
a right network, also with this Jew running it. Like, and I say that in, you know,
As
a Jew,
as
yes.
a giant Jew.
It's quite a niche network. Yes, Simon.
So niche, and with so many people who hate you off the jump. But maybe that's the thing, right? Like, for everybody who hates you, it means there's other people who are going to stand behind you just to fuck the people who are hating you. Like, it's really
I mean, listen, I go back to it. If he puts out a movie that is good, that is without politics, right? Like if there's no anti-abortion message or religious message, if it's just a good movie that he puts out that someone wrote and directed, it'll get eyes. People will watch it. People like good stuff.
yeah, it's true. Like, if you're
Like,
I'll
if
say it
this
again,
cowboy-
if you're undeniable.
If this cowboy movie was great, because it seems like it doesn't have a lot of politics in it. So if this cowboy movie was just great, awesome. I don't think it's gonna be, but that's just because also she's a new filmmaker and it's tough making a good movie is very difficult.
I didn't realize she was the director of this movie. I thought she just acted in this movie.
I think she might have written it too. I don't know.
Well,
Really?
But that tells me that she's just not at the very beginning. She's directing by now, but
I mean, I'll go back to what Matt said earlier. That to me is the best point, is that she wasn't in a position to be ruffling the feathers of Hollywood. And those are the prices that come with...
you've got to use the Michael Jordan principle.
I also got to say it too. She said in this episode, like, her UFC career was short because she had it out with Dana too, and like, you already learnt your lesson. You already
Or
tangoed.
apparently not.
Well, okay, sorry. You should have already learned your lesson once, right? Like,
Yeah.
you're not the guy
Yeah.
that's there yet to tango.
When you tango with the boss, you end up not dancing.
But she seemed like a
bit my
nice
tongue.
She
Jesus.
seemed like a nice person. She didn't seem like a Karen. I think
That's
all I'm trying
terrible,
to
eh?
say.
When you hit
No, I
your
don't-
punchline and then you bite your tongue.
Yeah, it's God telling you to shut up.
Yeah, right.
I don't hate her either. I'm just saying I see both sides of it. I can see why Disney got rid of her, and I can see why she's salty. The world is unfair.
Yeah, I don't hate her either, but yeah, I'm exactly what Matt said. That's a really good way to put it, because the world is not fair. Hollywood is not fair. And sometimes you got to play the fucking game. And if you're not going to play the game, then you end up on Ben Shapiro's network. That's the lesson here. And maybe his network will end up being a fucking amazing and she'll make a lot of money and this will all turn out really great. But like, if you want to play with the big boys in Hollywood, you got to shut your mouth sometimes.
Listen, I'm a betting man. I'll bet you Mel Gibson waited like 15 movies before he mentioned Jews, period.
Yeah, and yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I guarantee he just had a career and then finally one day had some drinks and was
Oh
like,
no, he made a couple of great movies before he ever outed himself as an anti-Semite. Really, like, he made Braveheart, so done deal.
this is my point. He won an Oscar and then was like, you know what? I'm going to tell these guys what I think about them. Anyway, is that it for Gina?
They talked about Trump and Trudeau, and I think even though they're totally different, they're the same thing. The way they talk and present just pisses half the people off. And for that reason, they're ineffective leaders. Well, policy aside or whatever, just Trump is a blowhard, offensive, and Trudeau's sort of condescending and just like patronizing.
Being decisive will only ever get you half the people. If you're lucky, you can only win half the people. But if you're like an Obama type character before the first time, you can sway your side and some of the other side, like that to me is the best leader.
The problem though is Trump, this is what I don't get is Trump says most Mexicans coming over are rapists and criminals. And people are like, whoa, easy. He said most. He didn't say all. Trudeau says most of the truckers are fucking misogynists and shitheads. It's the same thing. And like Joe was so pissed. He's like, how can he say that about these people? I'm like, dude, you're president. I don't think it's a good thing to say.
That's what I just said. It's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Just different. They're coming from different places, but it has the same disruptive, chaotic.
But it was
effect,
so
the
obvious
population.
what they were trying to do. Like, it's not like that. That's what you do in that situation if you're the government. That's right out of all governments' playbooks. Like,
To what?
to try and demean whatever party is that is rising against you. Like,
No, the party is supposed to do that. The leader is not supposed to. The leader is supposed to, we're all in this together. We're going to figure it out. This
Sure,
is
yes.
very new.
Fine,
May
but-
started with Hillary Clinton and those people or whatever.
I mean, that's just what you do. That's you don't sit there and G up the people who are coming to take your head. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
No, but a good leader is supposed to you're still supposed to lead these people.
Oh, I'm
So
not.
my point is like,
I'm not saying what he did was
no,
right.
no, I get it. I'm reiterating that like whether or not you're not supposed to just lead your base.
Yeah. No, for sure. I find he's more like a Zelensky than like a Trump. You know what I mean?
Like, I know you don't like Jagmeet Singh, but someone asked him the other day, like, we heard you met with some of the Freedom Convoy people, and he was like, yeah.
He did?
Yeah, he was like, that's my job. I'm supposed to meet with people. And he goes, guess what? I disagree with a lot of the people I meet with, but my job as a politician is to meet with people and speak to them and try to get to some middle ground. So
And
he's like,
there's-
yeah, I met with fucking truckers. What of it?
There's a huge difference between meeting with truckers and being a politician like that and going to the rallies and marching with truckers. Do you know?
Yeah, of course, but that's the point is the media can't be like, whoa, we heard you met with truckers. Yeah, that's my fucking job.
Yeah.
I didn't get out a tiki torch and fucking grab a swastika. I'm not saying all truckers. I'm just saying like it. I don't know what their point was in being like, you met with a trucker. Yeah.
Were there any truckers here this weekend?
Yeah, apparently.
Really?
It didn't matter. They
was
moved the
everything-
thing to LeBreton anyway. So the
But
whole,
in that area, people still went there, but it wasn't. There's no. Crimes
Apparently,
committed. So
when
people
they-
were arrested the first night.
When they put off fireworks, they were so close to us. Like where I'm
Yeah, they were
staying right now. They
yeah.
were right there. It was nuts. They're so loud.
Yeah,
It makes like squirrel moms leave their babies
forever.
forever.
on
Yeah.
Monday, I saw a Reddit thread. Someone was like, there's like a small convoy rally going down Maryville right now. Someone commented, yeah, I just drove by them. There's an aggressive gentleman on an e-scooter leading the whole thing. I immediately was like, we know Kumar.
I know where I was, but I talked about. I think
He doesn't know where his scooter was, but he knows where he was.
I talked about it on the post show that they were suggesting canceling the fireworks out of compassion for people who just came from Ukraine.
No, I would cancel it based on the fact that the wildlife suffers greatly.
I think the road ahead is no more fireworks. I don't think that's.
Well, you know
out of
how
the
much
realm
that fireworks show costs?
I was going to say the biggest thing we should be concerned about is the
Do you
amount
know
of
how much it
fucking
costs?
bread. I'm going to say like $700,000.
It's like $1 million
Yeah.
of. Oh yeah.
to do that show every year.
blow stuff
$1
up.
million to just
Think of how much.
for 10 minutes.
Wait,
Think of how much our friends to the south
yeah,
spend.
tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean that's crazy.
tomorrow? No, it's
Tomorrow, yeah,
Fireworks.
Happy Canada Day, guys. I mean,
4th of July.
4th of
yeah.
July.
4th of July.
Quick few things. It'll be interesting in this one. Look, they talked a lot about COVID and stuff, and if Fauci dies, he how do you think he'll be remembered?
He won't be. Who cares? Like, how? Let me ask you a question. How do you remember any of our health? Like,
Well, he's been there for 40 years.
sure, but
that's
even
all.
then, like, you know, the Surgeon General,
Like-
I just these people don't get remembered.
I don't think he's going to be remembered as like the Hitler that everybody thinks.
Or
you
the
know what I
hero.
mean?
Who was George Bush Sr.'s
No, or the
vice
hero.
president?
Dan Quayle.
Sure, maybe you're right. The point is who the fuck know? Like, you can't even remember the vice president from like 20 years ago. I highly doubt we're gonna. Now, listen, COVID was a big deal. Was it? Who knows? Other than the money siphoned out of the world, we might just fucking forget about this thing. It might be like 9/11.
If it turns out, like, if it gets proven some way that he was like
Never gonna happen.
intricate in making this virus or something to that effect, then he'll go down in history differently.
I would
But
say
just like this, no, I think he's
because he's 80, he could drop dead tomorrow. Is he recognized as a hero? There'd have to be
No,
there'd
no
have to be news
hero.
or whatever.
There can't be heroes.
Or
How do you get recognized as a hero?
Not
the-
with books out there
Saved-
like
he
the
saved
real
America
Anthony
from the
Fauci.
pandemic. Or it turns out that now he's dead. Well, we can blame everything on him, and he gets his reputation ruined. Did you guys see Dallas Buyers Club?
Yeah.
I mean, I know the movie. I don't think I ever like actually watched it.
Well, then I guess we can't do it because there are rules.
Well, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I am telling you the truth.
Should see it.
Really?
Yeah. It won an Oscar, I'm
Seemed
pretty sure.
depressing.
Oh, it's depressing
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
don't need to be depressed anymore.
You're watching murder documentaries
I
on
find
the regular.
those very uplifting.
This is a real documentary, sort of how it was.
Okay.
And the one point,
I mean, I've definitely seen some parts of it.
okay,
Not the whole thing,
play
though.
the button. He's lying.
I don't think I have.
It's the JRE movie game.
Should have stuck to your guns.
Why, yet another movie?
Matt and Simon, two rags that brings together the budget in the box office. We all know they won't guess the year, and the Patreons are the real winners here at the JRE movie game. Come on, take it away, baby.
It's the movie game where Simon and Matt go head to head. Figure out what year a movie came out, how much it cost to make it, and how much it made at the box office. This week we're doing the Dallas Buyers Club.
We all know they won't guess the year.
It's inclusive, directed by Jean-Marc Vallée, starring Matthew McConaughey, Jennifer Garner, and Jared Leto, which he won the Oscar for.
Okay, what year did this come out?
Hey, nice try.
It was interesting because this was the AZT thing, sort of in the realm of the idea of chemotherapy, where you just poison the body and hopefully the foreign thing dies and the body survives. But I was talking some campfire talk that there may be everything may have a frequency that kills it. And this is literal technology that we're not using.
Well, how about there's a guy in Ottawa that is using AIDS to cure cancer. So maybe they all just are intertwined in that sense.
Well, this idea was just every single life has a frequency that makes it go no. And it's unique to it. And you can figure out the frequency like for cancer or leukemia or whatever it is. And it would leave everything else safe and just kill that.
It's amazing.
That'd be sweet if that were it.
It'd also be something like to defend ourselves against aliens.
It really
You have a year
feels
there,
like we
Simon.
would have that already.
Some
Just
test-
saying.
it's some Tesla shit,
Yes,
just
I
saying.
have a year, Matthew. I'm ready with a year.
Okay, shoot. What
You
year
want
do
me
you have?
to go first?
Well, we just need I have 11.
2011. Is it 2011?
No, it's
Of
not.
course it's not. We all know they won't guess the year.
But it's 2013. Oh. So we're in the neighborhood. I'll give that to both of you.
It's
No.
funny. I thought,
on.
should I add a couple on just for good measure because I wasn't positive?
Probably should have, you know.
Probably should have.
I'd
Two.
Seeing that I've played this a handful of times and seen how difficult it is, I'd feel really good with being within 2 years of a year in any situation. Maybe we should loosen it up to within 3 years of the year.
Who was in this movie again, Kamar?
McConaughey, Garner, Leto. Directed by someone you've never heard of.
Jean-Marc Vallée.
I rest my case. Simon, Rum Diaries came out in 2011 and it cost $45 million to make.
Whoa.
That's
Whoa,
weird. That's
whoa, whoa.
wow. Is he helping a buddy out? Is he sharing misinformation?
Whoa. Now I got to change my.
Well, I'm fucked up by it, so I had to fuck him up by it.
Okay, here. It's not.
Misinformation.
Okay, this is what we're doing.
truth, though.
I got it. Okay, this is what we're doing. I'm ready.
I need 1 sec here.
All
All right, I'm ready. I said it cost.
Hold on one sec.
Okay, my apologies.
Okay, fine. I mean, I don't know.
All right, I said it cost $30 million to make, and it made 80.
Oh, well, I said it cost 33 to make, so we're right on the same page there. And I'm looking at this number. It's too big. 233.
I told you this thing won an Oscar.
Yeah, this was not popular, but this was definitely a passion project because it only cost $5 million to make.
So nobody got paid.
No one got paid, and it made $55.7
Oh,
million.
man, I was so
Jesus
fucking far
Christ.
off.
So really, Jared Leto is the winner in this. I mean, that's still a good.
How the fuck do you make this movie for $5
10
million?
times.
That's like
They
the
don't-
craft
They
services
don't
on the
pay
Titanic.
any of those actors.
Well, the movie's amazing. That's how you make it. The story is so good; it has to be told.
It's just crazy. Good for that guy.
233. What the fuck was I thinking?
Who wants to see a movie about AIDS? That's the movie game.
Yeah, Simon thought a movie about the AIDS epidemic made
What a
made
moron.
Star Wars money.
233.
I wouldn't
Not
say
Star Wars money, but like a lot of money.
No, but when you hear someone wins an Oscar, you usually see it gets another bump at the box.
No, I
office.
didn't even think Oscar. I don't know what I was thinking, man. I don't think I know what I
So
was
yeah,
thinking.
I guess Joe said he's going to support Ron DeSantis, and that made some people's heads spin, but not that big a deal.
I don't know anything about Ron DeSantis.
He's the governor, of
Florida governor.
Oh, right, that Yahoo. Okay.
I don't even know if he's running. We'll see.
Oh, he's gonna run.
He's gonna run for president.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
think?
Yeah.
So who do you think's gonna be in this run for president then? Just if everybody had to take guesses.
Well, this guy DeSantis is gonna run against Trump, and he's gonna lose.
He's
most
gonna lose
likely.
against Trump. Trump is gonna be the Republican candidate. That's what everybody's betting on. If you were a betting man.
I am a betting man, and that is where my money would be.
And you obviously think that, Kamar.
Well, who's the other guy? Who's Ron Paul's son?
Rand Paul.
Sean Paul.
I think he could throw his hat in there because he seems to be doing a lot of, grandstanding to sort of
He'll never win.
make sure people know. But he's run before.
You think somebody could beat Trump?
There'll be
on
more
the
than two people
Republican side?
running for.
Is it the Republicans?
There'll be like
Yeah.
there'll be 8 people running for it. So
And you think definitely Trump?
I'd like to think not. As we've said, if you have all this money, just I don't want to do it anymore. But the power, the ego.
Who would have to run? Like all the people you just said have no chance of beating Trump.
DeSantis has
DeSantis
a chance,
does.
but he's the only one.
Who do you really think would have to run on that side to beat Trump? If you could just throw a name out there of a guy or gal who
Jesus
but we know
Christ.
that's not
Chris
true.
Pratt. He can do no wrong.
Chris Pratt, eh? Okay. And on the other side, who do you think is going to be the? Biden can't possibly run
That's
again.
so.
There's no point talking about it
super
because
interesting.
they're not going to win. So it's a moot point.
They're not going to beat Trump. Depends who runs.
Yeah, there's
or if
no
they
one.
fix the election.
There is no one. It's not good. Like you're asking who. We don't have an answer that's going to beat Trump.
Well, it's
That's
going to
my
be
point.
an actor because we've seen that happen in other places. So it's time it happened there.
It can't be an actor.
A
No
new
one's.
Reagan.
They would have already had to have like stepped in pretty much.
If for some reason somehow they are like we're so sorry, but we have to bring in mail-in ballots, the whole thing's gonna seem fishy.
Why would they have to bring in mail-in ballots?
It's just for some. There is no legitimate reason. So if that did, that's just like.
What about the like 5 states that already have them?
Well, it's gonna be.
I don't even understand though. I asked you who you thought was going to run, and your answer was it doesn't matter.
He's already calling.
Mail-in.
He's already
They're
calling
already
stolen election. Yeah.
For the
You don't even
Democrats?
know who he's running against
For the
yet.
Democrats, all money says they'll lose because of what Biden's been doing. Tulsi would have to be the person on the side for them to win.
That too. Joe talks about.
She can't.
Joe's like
Exactly.
Justin Trudeau, Klaus Schwab's little puppet. Buddy,
They all
your
are.
boy Dan Crenshaw
So is
and
Tulsi
Tulsi,
Gabbard.
they're both at the World Economic Forum with Klaus Schwab. So shut the
No, but
fuck up.
that's hilarious. If that really is true, right? If there is some legitimacy to Klaus Schwab being like this, like puppet master, putting in heads of state,
Yeah, he's got Joe Rogan hook, line, and sinker on 2 of them, one on each side.
hook, line, and sinker. And meanwhile, there are way more in this, like, what's his name? Gavin Newsom and the.
My point, though, is if you cast a wide enough net, you're going to get everyone. Right? Like, you might think, Joe Rogan might think, like, I've got 2 people here that are fucking solid. But this Klaus Schwab guy's just cast his net
Oh,
so
yeah.
that there is no,
Klaus Schwab
you
is-
don't have someone that's
AOC.
clean. AOC's dirty as fuck. What are you, nuts?
No, I
Oh, I
don't.
was
Even,
talking
I
about
don't
someone
know
that
what
could
you're
run.
asking me. I thought you were going to ask me a name, and I wasn't going to have to defend why they'd be good at it. I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
I was looking for a name.
Yeah, and that's what I'm going to say.
Like,
AOC.
I think it's going to be an actor. What actor or actress is it going to be?
completely foreign to politics.
Well, that's how it always works. Zelensky, he came right out of nowhere, right out of the Actors Guild.
If the
Our
Democrats
guy,
put up a
Trudeau,
No.
we only give him credit as a politician because his father was a politician. I don't think he was ever in politics a day in his life before that, was he?
He's a supply teacher.
I don't think
And
anyone
that's
gives
why
him credit for politics.
He's a
Maybe
supply
I'm wrong,
teacher.
whatever.
No, but Trudeau has a certain we assume that he's stately in that way because his father was, but
Graduated.
He was never. I don't even think his father was. Frankly, I don't think he was ever a congressman or I don't know what our things are. You know,
I think he might have been a lawyer. So
they're all lawyers.
No, Trudeau is not. Trudeau's a supply teacher.
See, that is just kind of as crazy as the. I mean, it's not as crazy.
Donald Trump is also not a lawyer. Never was. Never has.
Oh, Trump's
but
a
at
whole
least-
different.
at least he was
a
a whole
businessman.
different
He's
animal.
a businessman. Like, it's not even like
I'm just
Trudeau
saying,
knows
though,
how to flip properties
yeah,
and screw over
it
contractors.
doesn't matter.
I
My
don't
point
think-
is, I don't think you should be able to run without being. If you're going to make law, you have to understand the fucking law.
Well-
I shouldn't make law. You know why?
Well, the
I don't have a
president- the-
fucking law degree.
All of these people went to Klaus Schwab's School of Economic whatever there.
It's the World Economic Forum.
So they must have been trained in something. Trump was trained in nothing. You know what I mean?
And it's just lucky he had a dad.
Lucky he had a dad.
Well, if you really look into his business dealings, he's not a good businessman. That's a big, I don't want to get into it because I really don't care. But if you look deep into it, he's not like a stellar business person. It's not like he has like a record where you're like, wow, this guy really fucking. Mark Cuban, that's a good business. Well, he's had some duds too. I don't know.
Mark Cuban is a good businessman. They're
Yeah.
scoreboard baby, you know.
Listen,
Kevin Leary.
Billionaire.
Kevin Leary made all his money on a project that made like Hasbro go bankrupt.
Mark Cuban, yeah, sure.
No one, it's whatever. We're good. The weeds here, just rate it.
I like the weeds. It's way better than their fucking podcast.
Mark Cuban has a story about Donald Trump. Before Mark Cuban hit it really big, he was at a party with a bunch of rich people. And I guess there was it's a massive estate that they're partying on. And Mark Cuban's down by the water having a drink. There's like a lot of people there. And Donald Trump comes down and he says, Mark Cuban, nice to meet you. Maybe next year you'll be upstairs. You'll be at the house at the real party. As in, like, you're not there yet. And I just think it's hilarious because Mark Cuban has surpassed Donald Trump like five times over by magnitude.
Except he's not the president. There's somebody who could run for president.
He's too
Mark
busy.
Cuban. Yeah, why would you want to?
Elon.
It would have to be somebody who just had a grudge against Trump the same way Trump had a grudge against
That'd be crazy if it was
Obama.
Cuban.
I don't want, this is the problem. I don't want someone running the free world on a grudge. I'd rather the person genuinely was like,
Cuban,
Even if it was on a grudge, they'd still be better than Trump. So
Cuban, Bezos, Elon, Bill
want
Gates,
any of those people.
and Dave Portnoy.
I like the Dave Portnoy.
Of course.
Elon, I don't think can run. I think you guys were right about that because he is from South Africa. But
Yes.
there may be some because his parents were American. I think I don't know, man. Because anyways, I think when you're tied in so closely with the CIA, they can make your back records whatever they want.
I give it a 1.5.
I give it a 1. This was fucking horrible.
I give it a 1. I didn't learn anything. Good luck to her.
Yeah, Gina, we wish you the best.
Yeah, good luck.
All right, we're going to pay a bill and we'll be back.